Well, hello and welcome to the Points of Interest podcast. It is the most generic podcast on the internet. My name is Josh Hawks. I am the 303 Ninja. And right over there, he is my podcasting partner for life. He is the other guy. It's Mr. Francis Fernandez.
If you're looking for a tweet, I will tweet one out.
I completely forgot to fix that.
Hi everyone. I hope everyone's doing well.
You know, but
a few weeks.
Yeah, it has been a few weeks. There's been many a thing that has happened around the old podcast center. Some good, some not so good.
Is that what this is called? Is that what it's called? The podcast center?
I just made that up.
I like it. Podcast center.
The podcast. I mean, why not?
And hello to HHG Holly for
joining
and becoming our latest friend a week ago.
Yes.
HHG Golly.
Big shout out to Vaughn. That's his name. So check out his channel too. If you want to see some gaming action, check out Vaughn. For some reason it doesn't.
They joined twice.
Yes.
That's funny.
Well, I'll tell you later. But it's funny. Even still, I don't see his follow on my side, which is very odd. But hey, man, you know. Thanks for tuning in. So we haven't been here for a couple weeks, and there's reasons for that. I don't even know how do I start the story. So we've all been on this journey with me for the past almost 4 months now of the journey of me getting into a car accident in December, getting stiffed on a payout, and waiting forever for the check. Right? Would that be an accurate, wrap up kind of that part of it?
Be accurate, I would say.
So as I like to do sometimes, I make the moves, and arrange and find another car. And I go out and I pull my dick out onto the table at the old dealership, and I go, look, impressive, isn't it? I'm only going to pay this much. And they go, sure, that's great. Go ahead. And so I pay that much. And nothing. You haven't missed a damn thing yet, Ginger. Just getting started. So we make the purchase, and I'm having fun in my brand new car, and I had it for like 5-6 days, so almost 7 days. 2 hours short, Francis, of a full week, and I decide I'm gonna go get a snack with my friend after work, and we go have a little drive down the street from my workplace. And I go to turn left, and the next thing you know, a Chevy Tahoe comes out of nowhere and slams into my brand new car that still had temp tags on it, and destroyed it. The car that I made the moves for and made arrangements and did all this sort of stuff and waited forever to get was gone in an instant. And so was my ego and my pride and my happiness and and just everything. It happened last Monday. So Tuesday comes around, and I couldn't put this face on. I couldn't even put this voice on. Francis had to listen to me which is funny. We still did the podcast length of time last week. Francis and I, but we chatted about, he listened to me complain about how everything sucks and I don't deserve anything good, and
oh man, it wasn't like that.
every time
it was good times.
Every time I get a good thing, I expect a kick in the balls, and no, it wasn't that bad. But I just couldn't do the podcast, and I think the week before that, I think I was just too giddy to have the car. No, we talked about it then, didn't we?
So the week before that, What was the reason we didn't? But we didn't do a show last week. Or was it only just last week? Maybe it was.
Last week
Maybe
we
it
didn't
wasn't
do
2
a
weeks.
show.
I feel like we didn't do one. I didn't think we did one the week before because I thought we had a bracket, but maybe what we did the week before was we went and talked about the car
Yes, we did the bracket
process, and
then
then
the
we didn't do the
car.
bracket. That's why we saved the bracket. Yeah.
And we were going to do the second half of the bracket last week, but,
Right.
you know, wrecked car. I couldn't put on a funny face. I couldn't, object to
You had stuff on your
Francis's.
mind.
Yeah, the way too many things on my mind. So the week went on, and I will say that it sucks to crash your brand new car. That sucks. Not that I crashed
can
it,
imagine.
but to get crashed
Right.
into. That really, really sucks. Don't recommend. Like 0 out of 10 stars. But protect kayfabe. The insurance company that I had been with for the last 20 years, whatever my driving career has been, I've been with one agency, one agent, basically the entire time. And they were there for me when the Mazda got taken out in December, when this whole thing started.
Yeah.
And they, when I bought this car, this new Civic, they were like, "Nope, we can't insure you." So I was mad. I didn't even ask why. I just went and found another insurance company. I was very skeptical to use this insurance company because even a caveman can do it. So I was like, I don't.
Jeez, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, some people won't know the reference.
I hope they do.
I hope everybody does. But
oh my god. Yeah.
But it was so easy and cheaper that even this caveman did it. But I was very skeptical about them because there's no agency you can go to. They're just an internet, sort of entity.
Right.
Well, again, in the car wreck, I make, I didn't think, open up your app that they make you download. And right there's a button for starting a claim or get roadside assistance or whatever. So I get the process started with them. Within a half hour, they were offering to give me a rental car. They were
listeners meet. Sorry, go on.
And just taking care of the whole thing. The turnaround between the day it got crashed into to the day they sent me an email with the payout for the car was 3 days. Not 3+ months like the former agency was.
Right.
So I was very impressed with the caveman guys. The caveman guys. That's redundant. With the cavemen, because holy shit,
the caveman guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, it was amazing how fast that they were just able to turn around right away and just be like, "Here, we're taking care of it." And based on the information and the what we see from the accident, clearly this person could have avoided it, but they were probably distracted. That sort of thing. So put your fucking phones down. So, a few weeks ago, Francis, I talked about how there should be a technology because the silent disco exists. So we can not get fucking ear leprosy from our friends by sticking their earbuds in your ear, right? You pair to my phone, and you can have multiple paired Bluetooth devices, right?
Right.
So on that same kind of train, there should be a technology that it makes your phone inoperable if you're sitting in the driver's seat of the car while it's on.
Now but this thing does exist. The thing is, it's up to the user to turn it on. But there's a thing like on like an iPhone that it will notice when you're driving, and what it'll do is it'll put in like on a do not disturb mode, and anyone who calls you or tries to text you. You can even leave a message for, maybe even on Android phones, I think it is. You leave a message for them and it says, "I'm driving right now. I'll get back to you as soon as I can." Kind of like a voicemail. And it exists, but people don't turn it on because they want to be able to text and whatever and take calls while they're driving.
Yeah, taking the calls thing, I think like pairing your phone, since you can do all this pairing your phone to your car thing nowadays.
Yes, that's true.
And they have built-in mics and everything. I don't see that being so much of an issue, because really, if you've spoken to anybody on any car system, it sounds like they're underwater when they're talking to you. So you're not going to want to talk to that person very long if they're on their car phone anyway. So their car phone.
Well, technology has advanced there, Josh. Unfortunately, I have talked for many hours on my car phone, and it's weired. But I have done it.
Well, maybe I haven't been in a good audio synced car or something, but they all sound like shit as far as I'm concerned. Or they can't hear you.
You're not,
because the mics are in a weird place and they're omnidirectional and whatever. But there should just be a technology that makes your phone inoperable. The only thing that works is 911. It's a big fucking button. And the car just knows that you are the driver. I don't know how it knows this shit. It's for fucking scientists to figure that shit out. Or whoever, Will I Am or whoever the fuck. I am bringing up that guy again.
I know. Yeah, what is with your thing with Will I Am?
Well, because he fucking made phones for Nokia in like fucking 2004 or some shit like that.
Yeah. He also one of the singers of
Black Eyed Peas. Yeah.
So there you go.
Listeners Mate says ham radios have the technology where you can't transmit while the car is in motion. It will let you monitor, but it blocks you from transmitting.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
That's kind of cool.
CB, I think, can. Maybe not ham radios.
CB is designed to be used while you're driving.
Yeah.
Not that you can hear anybody. You could be next to somebody and not understand a word they're saying.
CB radio, my dad was a big CB radio guy, and he had this gigantic antenna on the top of that. Like, it was like a 6-foot antenna on the top of the car. It was like really tall.
Yeah,
because he wanted to be able to communicate with anybody out there while he was driving, and on occasion while we were.
Was it tied down to the rear bumper?
No, it was on the trunk. I want to say it was near the trunk or on the trunk or something like that.
Like a magnetic. Like a magnetic attached thing to the trunk?
Something like that. I mean, I don't. It was a long time ago, so I don't really quite remember how it was attached. I just remember it being really tall, and we would just be out, just driving. Anytime we did errands, he would just call out and see if anyone was on a particular station. And be like, "Hey," and it, "Hey, call. I'm this call sign. Is anyone else out there?" And people with other call signs would be like, "Yeah, I am. What's going on?" And they would have like a little mini conversation, and be done with it.
My grandmother, she had a CB radio in one of her cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really cool to go on any kind of driving on the freeway to turn the thing on and see if you can get a trucker to talk to you or something.
Yeah. Oh, we got a great big convoy for that very reason. Man, I don't know if anyone ever remembers. That's such an old country song. I don't know if anyone remembers that song, but it's a song about being a convoy. And they would have like convoy lingo or CB lingo, so you could figure out who's who and what's what.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, CB and ham radio is definitely a thing.
Well,
but anyway.
I wish I had one, a CB radio, because then I would transport it to every car that I was in. And do car reviews over CB radio. And if I was doing this, Francis, I would definitely do one on the car that they let me rent through the old Caveman insurance company. And the place gave me, and we're never going to get sponsored by these people now, but they gave me a Nissan Versa.
Have you ever heard a podcast do a Caveman insurance commercial?
No, I'm not. We're moving past that. I'm talking about Nissan's never going to give us shit now.
Nissan.
I'm about to shit all over this car.
That's okay. Well, okay, first off, Nissan is like, or the Versa specifically is like their most entry level. Their other cars are way better. There's other cars that Nissan
Oh,
makes that are actually decent vehicles. It's
yeah,
just that they
the
gave you
fucking
the worst one.
the the 350 or the Fair Lady, depending on which country you're from. I love that car. You know, the R32. Hell yeah, give me one of those.
Even
You
their
know?
trucks, the Frontier and all that stuff.
I mean, I'm not really a truck guy, but sure.
No, yeah, I've been in them, so yeah.
But so they give me the Versa. First of all, I think it's a 3-cylinder car, so it has like no balls, and
Well, Ginger seems to like it because it's bigger than a Fit.
well,
And
maybe
Honda Fits are nice, actually. I've been in a Fit too, and those are pretty sporty.
I believe my brother has a Fit. Hiccups, but the Versa, you want to talk about entry level, Francis? I mean, it is a car with wheels. I mean, you know, all cars now have to have the backup camera. Pretty much all cars now have the push button start. Or like the what do you call it? Blind spot monitoring, you know, or whatnot.
Oh yeah, those aren't normally standard, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Right. Well, you know what I'm saying though. But it's like these things are becoming standard. And this car has a lot of those things, but it also, I feel like I have to stomp on it just to get it to move. And it has very little amenities, but for some reason, it has a flat bottom or shaved steering wheel, like a fucking race car, or like what, like the GTR, like the Nissan GTR might have. And I'm look every time I get into the car, and I know why it's shaved or flat. I think it's just a shaved steering wheel, but I realize why. It's because it's so low in the dashboard that if it was fully round, it would be rubbing on your sack.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah.
You know, that's totally why it has a flat bottom, but it's so ridiculous. It's just like this car just. Yeah, I just feel like I'm just always pressing it all the way to the floor, pedal to the metal, just to get it to go 20 miles an hour.
Look, my very first, I mean, this is a 2000. I mean, this is when I was in high school, so it's like late 90s. But man, my very first kind of car that I drove. It was my mom's car. I used it to do the DMV test. It was a Ford Escort station wagon, and if you had the air conditioning on, you were lucky to break 40 miles per hour. Like, you were lucky.
Sure.
If you could break that on a straightaway, you know, like, it just had zero power, zero everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was the worst car ever. But, you know, I mean, look, cars are like that. Like, cars back in the day are totally like that. And unfortunately, you're stuck. Look, it's a temporary thing, right? You know, it's not like you're gonna have it forever. So.
I definitely found a car I don't want.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like,
well, yeah.
Like most cars I've rented or borrowed, not even most, all cars that I've rented or borrowed in the past, I lock. You know, this is somebody else's car. Or I'm renting this. I'm kind of responsible for this. This car, I forget to lock all the time. I've almost left a fucking key fob in it a couple times. Like, this thing sucks.
They'll probably pay you to lock it instead of stealing it. They're like, "Come on, guy.
Right.
You know, here, we're gonna give you some money. We're gonna put it on the the driver's seat.
Yeah.
You unlocked it for a reason. You left it unlocked for a reason. So here you go.
Yeah, it's just definitely not a car for me. Definitely not. I think even the top of the line Versa wouldn't do anything for me. Listeners may ask, do I have to pull the rubber band back enough to make it go? Funny enough, the transmission is kind of like a rubber band in the sense of the CVT transmission, which is redundant to say that as well. But it is a band that spins between two cylinders. So you're not wrong there. But I think they need to get a smaller rubber band because this thing has no get up and go. You stomp on the gas and you have to wait for the car to respond. Like, are you sure you want to go faster than 10 miles an hour? Are you really sure? Okay, I guess we'll go.
Mm.
So, yeah. If you can avoid it, don't get a Nissan Versa.
Well, there you go.
Like I said,
No
never
wiser
gonna
words.
get to fucking test drive a GTR now. That's for damn sure.
Well, no, well, look, I'm pretty sure Nissan's isn't even like proud of their Versa.
Right.
But, like, I don't. It's not like that's the thing they advertise. They advertise the
mean,
GTR. They advertise for the other ones. They
they're-
don't advertise for the Versa.
They're not getting that Heroes money anymore,
No.
Francis. Remember
Was
when
Nissan a Heroes car? Was that a car that they showcased on Heroes?
they did for like half a season when Hero and Ando were on an adventure, and every time something would come up, Hero would be like, "But we could take the Versa."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I missed that season of Heroes.
I think everybody did.
Well, yeah. That's the fabled third season, probably, where it really went downhill.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Sad third season. Second season was all right. Third season, I recall, was awful. And then I watched the reboot of it, and the reboot wasn't good at all.
Well, the
But I watched all
reboot
the episodes.
the reboot never got out of its starting blocks.
It had a full 13 episodes.
It doesn't matter. It still never got out of
Yeah.
its starting blocks. They just kept fucking
Well,
skidding
the
out,
only-
not getting traction.
the only guy that came back from the original Heroes was the horn-rimmed glasses guy.
Mhm.
Like, that's the only dude that came back from OG Heroes. None of the other guys did. So I'm like, oh, well, if you're not going to get anyone from the OG Heroes back, then what's the point?
You're
Like, I
not
don't care
wrong.
about these characters. I want OG Heroes.
Yeah, well, they're available on Paramount. I think.
I think you're making stuff up now.
I'm not.
I think you're making stuff up.
I'm not.
No.
I think you watch all 4 seasons on there.
Well, there you go.
Did you see any of the actors from Heroes at WonderCon this weekend?
That's a good question, because I didn't see anyone. No, that's not true. So WonderCon was this weekend.
It was
That's
this
crazy.
weekend, and this is the first time in a few years that they've been running it anyway that I wasn't there.
Yeah, I think the only times we weren't there were
20.
during the pandemic, which was 2020 and 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We came back for the 2022. We were both there for 2022.
We took over a table.
We took over a table.
Mm-hmm.
There were tables to take over this year.
Mm.
The Funko booth, because if I recall, WonderCon was which doesn't feel that long ago, but WonderCon was the one where I got the picture of me on the surfboard, wasn't it? That's the surfboard, Funko surfboard thing.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't feel like it was a year ago. It boggles my mind that was a year ago, because that doesn't feel like a year ago. It felt like 3 or 4 months ago.
Sure.
Anyway, so WonderCon 2023, I actually spent about half of it with James, who is known as Jalou on
The
I guess
interwebs.
Super Geeked Up. I haven't seen him since the passing of his wife, so I wanted to hang out with him and spend time with him, because I haven't seen him since that time.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to see if the guy was okay, and yeah, we spent like 3 hours just kind of hanging out, like 2 or 3 hours just hanging out.
That's
it was
great.
It was cool. It was nice. Yeah. And then I spent the rest of the time shopping, because I bought nothing big. I bought a couple of things that I'm just like, you know what? I think so and so would like this. I got something for Josh. I got something for Jeff. I got something for me. Jeff being the host of Super Geeked Up.
If we combined
and
all
then-
of our gifts together, like in some sort of fist bumping maybe action, can we like summon a demon or something?
We fuse into one person.
Oh.
when all of our stuff touches, which not stuff. I mean, like our items, not our stuff.
Oh, did
When
you
our
get
items
us like
touch.
matching cock rings or something?
Exactly. That's how it,
We
that was our-
gotta touch tips.
well, there goes the surprise. No. I got you. No, I got.
Don't tell me what
mean,
you got me. I don't want to know what
I
you
won't.
got
I
me.
won't say anything. I won't say anything. Not even like the genre or of what the thing is. I just some stuff that I'm like, oh, you know what? I know someone will like it. Um, and I kind of got the, I'm just like, oh, this somebody will like this. Okay, I'll get this. Oh, somebody's gonna like this. I'll get this. So I did that. That was a few hours, and then I saw no panels. Didn't go to a single panel. Just went
Wow.
mostly on the show floor. The and looking at it's a cosplay con. So a lot of
No,
cosplay.
very much so. Very much so.
So for people who are like, oh, cosplay, that's cool. What are you gonna talk about? Butts and cleavage, because that was apparently on the menu this year, because everyone had butts and cleavage this year, and I was really surprised. I'm like, oh, we're going back to more kind of risque cosplay now. Cool. I guess we're back to that again.
Well, Francis, when you get
So that
to
was
the
fun.
when you get to the point where Batman's banging Batgirl, I think cosplay can go ahead and
Yeah, I guess so. I don't. It was just surprising because I'm like, if I recall the year we went, I didn't really notice it being that risque. And then this year, I'm like, everyone's wearing like, it's all unitards with the back part just up the crack, and like just everyone. It was just strange, and just like again, a lot of cleavage. And there were a couple of booby tubers, I guess, there with tables too. So maybe that was what was the influence. There were a couple of booby tubers. So that was a thing. But overall, really crowded. Tons of people. Tons of people.
this is more than last year.
Way more than last year.
Okay.
I actually had a hard time going up and down aisles. As the day went on, it got easier. But right in the morning, in the midday, it was just like I'm like rubbing elbows with everybody. Like I have to just elbow my way through. People sold out of a bunch of stuff, which was really cool. A lot of just sold out everything.
I mean, that's ideal. That is ideal.
Yeah.
And so since I was there last year, and they had such a huge encouragement, almost mandate, to be masked the entire time, and to show your
Zero masking. I mean, people masked. Don't get me wrong. There were a lot of people. I would say about 1/30th. I mean, there was like one for every 30 people was masked.
Okay.
Like the vast majority of people were just.
So it's just like last year. Then.
I mean, no, last year people masked.
I know.
Most people masked.
I'm just being a smartass.
The masking has more or less ended.
But I think that may have had something to do with attendance last year. Well,
I think so too.
Isn't Anaheim? Well, I'm not here to get political, but isn't Anaheim pretty red?
Yeah, but nobody cares about that.
Okay.
It has Disneyland. Like nobody cares about the leanings, the political leanings of Orange County, because Disneyland is there, and so is like every other, like Knott's Berry Farm is there, right? Nobody cares. I mean, people care in the sense that, like, yeah,
drive to fucking Garden Grove just to buy some weed and shit.
That's true. No, we went to, that was the sketchy place. That one sketchy place.
Wasn't that in Garden Grove?
It was in Anaheim.
Okay. It was outside of the mouse's reach.
It was right out. Well, look, the mouse now allows for people to have tattoos and work at Disneyland. So they're loosening their grip on morality. Even though tattoos aren't moral or immoral, but they're a little more loose with the rules now, as they progress, I guess. But whatever, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that once again, I decide for some weird out of this world reason to attend the con suite / hospitality suite for after hours conventioning. So at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah. The 10 forward, right? No, that's Comic-Con.
10 forward.
Was that Comic-Con?
Well, it's 10 forward here.
Okay, it's 10 forward at WonderCon. Okay.
Because it's the lady. Because both of them are run by the lady who dresses up as Guinan every year.
That's right.
Right.
Now explain the con suite.
So the con suite is a place that WonderCon. I think it's separate from WonderCon actually, but it's a room that is provided for con goers after the convention is more or less over. When they close down the show floor and they feed you mostly just like potato chips and like
Snacks.
candy and snacks. They just give you some snacks and some free drinks and snacks for the people who attend. And the 2 years that Josh wasn't there are the 2 years that people sit at a table where I'm sitting. So, because normally when you're with me, people don't sit at our table because
We look
there's a couple of people
unapproachable.
who know each other. Maybe, but I sat at a table by myself,
Mhm.
and then like a volunteer sat across from me, didn't talk to me, it was fine. And then a family to my left sat down, a father, a wife, or a husband, a wife, and a son sat beside me, and they were kind of chatty a little bit. And then a TV writer sits to my right and his girlfriend, and they start talking to me.
Hmm.
All right, I'm talking to the TV writer. He's a cool guy.
Did you get us a fucking podcast TV deal?
I wish.
Oh, God damn it, Francis. Okay.
I got a coffee date with these two. I
Oh,
guess.
shit. Okay.
Like, he invited me out to coffee because they live in the area. So I'm like, yeah, I mean that's cool. I don't know why you want to hang out and have coffee with me, but he's a really nice guy. And then they left, and their friends, two ladies, sit down and start talking to me as well. And now I'm friends with all of them on Twitter and Instagram, which is very nice.
That's awesome.
But once again, when I sit there to kind of be by myself, and
Right.
relax, people sit down and talk to me, which is always, I think, the funniest thing to me whenever I go to the con suite is, oh, let's talk to the guy that's just sitting by himself and like, just minding his own business.
Mhm.
He looks approachable. So, but they're wonderful people. Everyone I met was super nice and really great and really funny. So I'm hoping to get them as guests. Well, we don't have guests here, so I didn't advertise being guests for here, but I did advertise them being guests on Super Geeked Up. So we'll see if that happens.
Yeah,
We should really do guests.
well,
have guests.
I mean, our buddy Jeff has been on here a few times.
That's it though.
Yeah, that's really it. Well, look, no, that's not true because our friend Nikki Rapp, the
Oh, that's right. She
the very
she
awesome
guessed.
voice actress. She co-hosted one time when you were unavailable.
That's true.
Veronica Taylor, the first voice of Ash Ketchum, she was supposed to, but things, she's been busy. And so we just haven't been able to hook up. So hopefully we'll be able to do that still in the future. And Jeff from Super Geeked Up has let me know that he really wants to come on here and participate with one of our bracket breakdown things.
Oh yeah. Oh, did he really reach out to you about that?
He did,
I
yeah.
told him about the
So
bracket thing. That's
we're
funny.
gonna try and figure out a time to get him in here to do that. But yeah, maybe we should have more guests from time to time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so that was again just that was my. So I did not take. I really didn't take any pictures because I was shopping and talking. And again, I spent a lot of time with James. He took a picture of us, so that was posted. So that was very nice of him. We got a picture of the two of us at WonderCon. But for the most part, yeah, it wasn't the same without you.
Well, it never is, Francis. I am the life
no.
of the party.
Oh yeah, it would have been great if you were there with you would have liked these guys that came and sat at my table. Like they were really nice. The family especially were really really nice. Really geeky. They were telling us stories about because the wife works at a landfill, so just like having to find bodies at a landfill and having to like all of these weird landfill things. It was really kind of funny. But anyway,
That's,
so,
I mean,
there you go.
there's always got to be at least one or two interesting stories from somebody that works at a landfill. I mean, there has to be.
But it's a bunch of nerds just getting together and being nerdy, and it was just it was a good time, had by all. again, one of probably my favorite thing about WonderCon is that it is a much more approachable con than its sister convention, San Diego, where
And it's carpeted.
everyone's a little bit. And it's carpeted. I like that. That's the thing that you always take out of WonderCon is like, let's carpet it. It's a carpeted con.
Hey, look, motherfucker, your feet thank you too.
That's true. You're not wrong.
Especially when you wear the wrong size shoes.
Well, it's because I have the wrong size. My feet are all over the place thanks to my conditions. So whatever. I hate it. And not to, whatever to you, but whatever to my freaking feet. I hate it so much. It's just like, no, and it wasn't to you. But yeah, it just, and oh yeah, the Funko. Oh, listeners mate, if you were there, Funko once again took over like a third of the show floor with a, last year was a surfer theme. This year was like a circus theme. So there was a big top with like a MC or not a clown, but like the guy who like the ring top, the guy who like runs the show, the ringmaster, I guess, or whatever. The Barker, yeah. So that was their theme, and they partnered with Loungefly this year, so it was even double the size because Loungefly was showing off all their backpacks and bags and purses and stuff. So it was
that you could put your Funkos in.
Which you could put your Funkos in, exactly.
That nobody wants.
But I think if we go back to WonderCon next year, I feel like we need to get a table, because that was the one thing I feel like we need to finally just do a podcast panel and have a podcast booth. Like we just have to have a booth.
I'd be totally down for it. The only thing that would hinder that whole thing is then we don't get to see the show. We're just there.
True, but I feel like we've done this show enough almost to where we can kind of do that. And plus, as long as one of us does that, like we just need to make sure that we're a bigger group. Maybe so. Finding more people. Yeah,
we need those pack mules that we've always talked about.
Our jockeys.
Yeah, like we need our guys that walk behind us with the coconut clappers.
Exactly. Not jockeys. What the hell are they? The golfing guys. Who are the guys that carry the bags for golfers? What are they called?
I almost said something that probably would have gotten us fired.
How dare you?
Caddies.
Caddies, yeah. So we need a caddy. We need caddies with us carrying our equipment and stuff. Because, yeah, I'm telling you, man, it was a good year for cosplay, especially. You would have had a field day just taking pictures of everybody,
which was always a great time. Whether we try to set up crowd shots or crazy telephoto shots of people in the crowd or whatever. It's always fun. That more so than San Diego Comic-Con, WonderCon is better for cosplay.
It is.
Comic-Con, there's so much going on that there's one area of Comic-Con where people congregate at a backdrop. Otherwise, they're just kind of walking around outside because their shit's so intricate that they can't really go inside with it. And if they can, they're hanging out in that one area or next to the doors or something. Whereas WonderCon, it's everywhere. And then outside is just picturesque. There's trees and fountains and like nice backdrops that you can shoot behind and in front of, and it's fun there. It's a lot of fun.
It is. I agree. It's probably it definitely is one of the most fun conventions, and hopefully next year we'll be back at it again.
Yeah. What's really cool? Go ahead.
Go on.
Well, I was going to say what's really cool too, that they do carry on from Comic-Con as well, is that you get a regular badge like almost everybody else does, slightly different colors that say press on them, but then you also get this ribbon that you attach to your badge that says press on it as well. So in case the person that should be paying attention isn't paying total attention to the color, that ribbon is there that says it, in bold, huge letters to let everybody know. And
yeah.
Francis
if
and
anyone
I.
from WonderCon is wondering,
Well,
they pay attention.
They
pay
do.
attention to those ribbons. Yeah.
They do, and they roll out the red carpet sometimes, which is odd because a lot of places don't.
No. Well, I think WonderCon knows it's the baby brother of San Diego, and it knows that it needs because it doesn't have like big industry stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have the big announcements. They're happy to bring in as anyone that they can, and as Josh knows, and as a little behind the scenes, we get a bunch of emails. Kind of, somebody asked me the other day, "It's like, so do you have to ask people to interview people?" No, a lot of industry, like they may not be big celebrities, but a lot of these people who go to WonderCon reach out to press and be like, "Hey, can you interview this person?
Mm-hmm.
We have an available slot. Just email us, and we'll let you interview this person." It's like, oh yeah, they're practically throwing people at you because they
Mm-hmm.
want that press attention.
Mm-hmm.
So
And which really hurt all in the last couple weeks, because even before even before the purchase of the car, I knew that there was just financially, it just was not going to happen this year. So it hurt knowing that going into it. And then, like I said, 2 to 3 weeks before the show started, emails start just every day. There's 5 new emails of 5 different studios on 5 different projects that are like, please come to our thing. And
come talk to our folks. Come talk to this star. Come talk to this producer. Come talk to this actor. Come talk to this composer. Please.
Come talk to this executive producer. It's like, why the fuck would I want to do that? But you're inviting me, so maybe I should. And and it hurts. So then the car accident happens, and I'm all sad about that. Then I go home to look at my claim information, and all I see in my email is just 30 emails of studios saying, please come talk to us. We want to see you. And I'm like,
talk to you.
I can't. And Francis needs me to be there, whether he's talking or I'm talking. We need each other to be there for support and to hold things and, whatever. And it just didn't work out. So it hurt to see that. But I'm glad that you were able to go, have some cool adventures, meet some people, catch up with old friends. Because that's what it's all. I mean, that's really the Comic-Con. That's what it's really all about.
I mean, that's nowadays all I care about anyway when it comes to conventions. It's just meeting up with some friendly faces. That's the most important thing to me nowadays. So, yeah. The last thing I'm going to say is hopefully by next year too, as incentive anyway, we'll be working intimately with the Nerds That Geek people. And so we'll have more incentive to kind of go to these conventions and actually talk to industry people, even if we don't know what we're going to talk about, to the executive producer of, like, how to catch crabs in the Atlantic guy. And I'm like, crabs in the Atlantic.
I'm glad you finished that sentence.
Right. How to in the Atlantic, yeah.
Come to New Jersey.
And get some crabs. Do you have a Joe's Crab Shack out there, Joe?
Yeah, but nobody ever goes to it because we're a landlocked state.
Yeah, because that's their motto is Joe's Crab Shacks. You get crabs. Like that's their thing. Like, yay! And they dance every half hour, which is weird. Anyway, so there you go.
I'm so glad that the one that was at San Diego Comic-Con, they were not dancing every half hour.
Did we go to a Joe's Crab Shack?
Yeah, you weren't in the best of moods. You had your brain
I didn't
was
realize it was
filled.
a Joe's.
I'm pretty sure it's a Joe's Crab Shack. Pretty damn
probably
sure.
did. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't really quite remember, but yeah. So there you go. That's WonderCon.
WonderCon's great, man. WonderCon. I mean, right across the street is Disneyland and California Adventures and Downtown Disney, where you can get jacked up by Disney security. And Francis, I figured it out. I have figured it out why Disney security has decided to fuck with me every time we go.
What is that?
My father shoplifted from Disneyland in 1977.
And remembers you. It's the
I look so much like him. I think they're like, he's back.
They just have a picture of your father, just like on the wall next to the entrance. Like, this man steals from Disneyland. Do not let this man in.
Yeah, exactly.
50 years later, 60 years later, don't let him in.
Yeah,
all right. We don't want that. We don't want that kind of rabble here. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But that'd be great if that was true.
That would be. No, it's because I'm a dumbass and I keep trying to take fucking microphones and weed into Disneyland things, because I'm trying to make it the greatest place on earth.
Next year, we're going to take them up on their offer and we're going to buy a ticket to Disneyland so you can freaking go to Galaxy's Edge for the first time ever on a Sunday. We'll do that on a Sunday.
That is the other cool thing about being press at WonderCon is that... yeah, I saw that too. We're gonna skip over that. Being part of the press team at WonderCon is awesome because they give you discounted tickets to the amusement park next door.
Yeah,
across the street.
That was weird. They're like, "Hey, you're here. Might as well go to Disneyland." It's like, oh. Okay, thanks. So, that's cool.
But I was gonna say, you get the Disneyland across the street. Up the street from there is a fucking Roscoe's. There's like an expensive ass steakhouse that's got it's like one of those one name steakhouses. And
Morton's.
That's it.
I think.
It's just. Everything's right there, and maybe it's because I'm in Colorado and all this shit, Disneyland and having cool fucking convention centers and everything. We have a cool convention center here, but it's not across the street from
Convention center's cool. I like that place.
But it's not across the street from fucking Disneyland.
No, it's not.
It's across, the convention center here is across the street from
a Subway.
Well, it's a light rail, but yes.
Oh, light rail.
But yeah, and just saying, I know I'm just laughing about that. But no, it's a cool convention. It's a cool area. Again, maybe it's because I'm not there all the time, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool being over there. And when you're walking into the convention, you see all the people that are staying in the hotels near there, either walking to the convention or walking to Disneyland.
Yeah,
and just all day, and into the night. There's just people walking into Disneyland's, property line and just having a great time. It's the whole area. That whole area is just awesome. I like it. Like I said, I'm visiting, so maybe I'm fucking got shielders on, but
no, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. You're 100% on top of it. They moved WonderCon to LA, the LA Convention Center for 1 year. Because Anaheim was still debating whether or not it wanted WonderCon in Anaheim, right? So they went to LA for 1 year. It was awful because you don't have anything. It's at the Staples. Well, it's not at the Staples Center. It's at the LA Convention Center. But all you have is LA Live, which is just a bunch of restaurants, and then you have downtown LA, which sucks balls. Downtown LA is awful. Like, there's nothing good about downtown LA, but that's where they put. I mean, that's convention center is, and so you're just in downtown surrounded by just filth. It's an awful place. I hate downtown LA, even though there's some cool stuff. I mean, look, there's a lot of cool stuff actually in downtown LA during the day, but at night it sucks. So it's awful. I'm really glad they stick to Anaheim. Anaheim's so many nice places. It has like the Garden Walk and like there's a bunch of different places you can go. It's way better. And you're moderately close to the beach too, which means that if you really just want to go for a day to WonderCon, like say you are visiting from out of state, you just want to go for 1 day, there's so many places you can go that's just nearby that you can just have a good time at, and it's just like good. So anyway, that's all. I mean, look, we're gushing about a place really that it's mostly for the convention. So I'm glad I went. I'm glad I was able to utilize the thing. I'm gonna have to reapply next year, which means I better start talking about pop culture again. But by then, Nerds That Geek will probably be a thing, so I'll be able to talk about pop culture again, and hopefully they'll just send me back in. And
why not?
Of WonderCon, yeah. They have so every year. They have yet to deny me, and even when I say that, thinking I'm going to jinx myself, they still accept me the next year. So.
Well, it's crazy. I was doing some looking into it just as it was approaching, trying to distract my brain from wrecked cars.
Sure.
That it only started in 2000, so it's not that old of a show. I mean, 23 years, yes, is a long time for a show to run, but like in the big scheme of things, when Comic-Con just celebrated their 50th, the last time you and I were there, or I guess it was the year after, but either way, we were there for the 50th anniversary, and it's just crazy that it's a pretty young show.
Yeah, and it used to be in San Francisco, so there you go.
Well, there you go.
we almost didn't have a chance to go because it's in Northern California. Oh, I wouldn't go because that's a 9-hour drive. I mean, I guess I'd fly up there, but
still,
I don't know. Yeah, it seems like too much work.
Speaking of too much work, Francis, I don't know how I'm going to spin this. So a friend of mine lives in Vegas and was out here in Denver for the weekend.
Yeah.
And invited me and my lady to brunch on Sunday. And unfortunately, the lady couldn't go, but I still went. And my friend says, "Hey, just come, hungry and ready to eat, all expenses paid. Don't worry about anything."
Nice.
So I purposely don't eat anything early in the day, go to the brunch place. I'm excited. There's a bunch of yummy looking stuff on the menu.
Ooh.
Here's the cool thing. It's in a former crematorium, this restaurant. And it's, I don't want to say the original company's name, but they took part of the original company's name and knocked off a couple letters and, whatever. If you look it up in Denver, I gave you enough hints. If you looked it up, you'd be able to find it.
Yeah.
So my friend, her boyfriend is a chef in Vegas, and a private chef for like high-end casino owners and shit like that. So he just goes in there and Gordon Ramsay's the whole brunch menu, orders pretty much everything on the menu.
Right.
Before the lady, the waitress walks off, she says, "Now, I'm going to ask, does anybody have allergy issues? We specialize in allergies." And I'm like, well, that's a weird statement. Because
that's a weird thing to say. That's a weird thing to say out loud, but okay.
Right. Like, you specialize, you mean you are good at giving people allergies or working with them, sort of thing.
God.
Jeez.
Sorry.
So the Gordon Ramsay thing happens. The waitress says that, and I say, "I have a sunflower and palm, so I challenge your can work with these allergies thing."
Right.
And she says to me right away, "We do use a lot of sunflower in our stuff. I'll be back, and I'll let you know out of what you ordered, what you can and can't eat." And I go, "Wow, okay, that's crazy. I haven't heard any place that had sunflower exclusively used that much." And I look over at the chef, and his face, he's completely dumbfounded. He's like, "I haven't used sunflower oil and stuff in like 10 years. Like, none of the restaurants I've worked in recently have had sunflower."
Well,
so
that's nice.
He's trying to figure it out. He's just dumbfounded. So she comes back a couple minutes later. About half of the things that were ordered I can't eat, according to her. Mm-hmm. The other half I'm still looking forward to. Then about 5 minutes later, the manager comes by and asks who had the sunflower and palm allergies. So I speak up. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm right here." And he looks at me and he's like, "You can't eat anything here. There's sunflower in everything. We use it, as a cooking oil. It's in a lot of the stuff that we have brought in, yada, yada, yada." And he starts to kind of list what he can and can't do.
Right.
So there were 2 items on the menu that I was really interested in. Everything else was like, Yeah, I mean, I'll have a bite of it since we're ordering everything. But
Right.
none of it, I'm not super excited about most of this stuff. So they work with me. I get some sliders and a banh mi. A banh mi is, Francis, you've had pho.
I have,
The
yes.
people out there in the internet world, picture pho, but in a sandwich minus the soup part.
Right.
But a banh mi is basically pho in a roll.
Okay.
So they could do, out of everything we ordered, those are the two things that I was interested in, the two things that they can work with.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time, the chef, he's getting more irritated by the minute because he's thinking about it. He's looking it up to see how much it costs and just trying to, like, get his head wrapped around the fact that they use sunflower and everything. And almost
it has to be a cost-cutting thing, right? Like, that's the reason why they're using it. It's got to be cost-cutting.
That's what everybody at the table, that's what we all thought. And he goes, but it's not. It's fairly expensive.
Oh.
And he goes, I don't really know. I haven't looked at the prices of things in many a year. When you're cooking for these high-end people, you don't really think about these sort of things. They just pay for it.
That's a good point. True.
So he did suggest that we leave and went someplace else, but the order was already in. And once they figured out that there was a allergy situation, it was an open kitchen. He was facing the kitchen, and he was like, our order just fucked these guys up. And he watched as no food came out of the kitchen for like the next 10 minutes while they tried to make as much as they could, as fast as they could, and also at the same time set aside a whole set of clean skillets or whatever to cook my stuff in that wasn't contaminated, cross-contaminated.
Right.
But yeah, it was an experience. It was really cool to be with a chef that just Gordon Ramsay'd the whole menu. And it was...
It's nice up until the point when, when he feels your pain.
Well, I mean, everybody just kept going, man, I wish you can eat this. There's so much here. It's so delicious. I wish you could have a bite of it. And I'm just like, just use really descriptive words, I guess. I can be a photographer for you guys or something, but it was cool when the bill came. The chef guy just grabbed the bill, didn't even take an argument from anybody, and just, I got it. It's all market research anyway. So it was cool. I suggest
You could write it off.
Yeah, exactly. So, to cap things off, we started off with getting into car accidents with brand new cars. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. Going to a restaurant with a chef that Gordon Ramsay's the menu, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Why
very much,
not?
very much a good time. Very much a good time.
Well, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm glad that, your life continues to be a continuous roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, I don't want it to be. I want there to be a steady climb and then a plateau. For room for more for more upward, growth. But this whole being on lows and highs and the literally in a blink of an eye, I can't handle that. My balls can't handle being kicked in the balls that many times in the course of 6 months.
Yeah. Well, look, it's testing your resolve.
It is.
You've had some pretty good positive things happen in the last few weeks. And I think that sometimes, whether we like it or not, life tries to balance itself out every once in a while and kind of like, oh, that high you're on? Well, let me take you down for that high for a little bit. Because you've been up there for a while. Let's drop it down.
I was talking to a mutual friend of ours about the whole thing. With the gaining of a new position at work after 2.5 years of just grinding and trying to shine and finally being recognized. And at the same time, almost the exact same day, picking up a car that I've sunk hours into research. I can't even open my YouTube without the first 5 or 6 videos being about Honda Civics. So
Some type of recommendation for a Honda Civic. Yeah.
right. So going from the being at that plateau that I was talking about,
Right.
getting hit by somebody and getting your car totaled, and that steady climb of like, we can do this, we're gonna find the car, we found the car we want. Now how are we gonna make it happen? And we made it happen, and we bought the car, and we plateaued, and it wasn't quite a flat plateau, because every day it was like, this fucking car is getting better, and then again, the blink of an eye, just go all the way past 0. It didn't even stop at 0. It just kept going. I was subterranean numbers.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So to put on this facade for an hour or two, was not possible. Wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So, but we came back, and here we are doing it.
We are. We're doing it, and we're probably not going to have time to do the thing we're planning.
We
on doing
were
'cause
originally going to do
tonight.
tonight. Yeah, it's just going to be this like long drawn out thing where we never talk about this other half of the bracket. But it's saved in here for next time. So the people out there.
Wait, did you put out the other episode already? Have you put out the episode where
The first
we
one
did the first bracket?
Yeah, the first bracket's
Okay,
already out. So the people that are out there, next week we are going to do the second half of a bracket we started a month ago almost now.
Almost, yeah.
But if you want to participate, you can join in next week and let us know what you think of the following movies and where they should, it's going to be a bracket sort of thing. But Independence Day, Armageddon, The Rock, True Lies, Die Hard with a Vengeance, which has the number 1 seed for some reason on here. The Lion King.
Weird. Yeah.
One of these things does not like the other. Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump. So next week, you guys can help debate which ones will beat the others and figure out on this side of the bracket who won, so we can get back to who won on the other side of the bracket, which I don't remember anymore. But I look at my notes.
It was. I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure it was like Half Baked versus the Mummy, and I think the Mummy was the winner because the Mummy surprisingly won out on Jurassic Park, which is its original competitor.
I believe you are right. I believe you're right.
Yeah, and I want to say the Mummy would definitely beat out Billy Madison, Half Baked, Tommy Boy. And
Oh yeah, here it is. Yep, I found it. I just had to go back a couple pages. It was the Mummy, yeah. So the Mummy has won the first side of the bracket. So with those movies that I talked about just a moment ago, those will be the contenders for the second half of the bracket, which we will do next week. No, Wayne's World did not make the.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Wayne's World didn't
list.
make it, sadly. Which I'm sure there's a bracket out there with Wayne's World and like.
Wayne's World 2.
That's like a late 80s. Yeah, well, Bill and Ted's probably is going to be in there as well. So, like, yeah. Maybe we can make up our own brackets at some point.
I think what we should do, Francis, is an SNL movie bracket.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. Well, I've seen quite a few SNL. Like, I didn't see Ladies Man, which was an SNL movie.
That was?
Yeah, the Cavatier guy.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
I forget his name as well. Tim Robbins.
Tim Meadows.
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins is the other guy.
Yeah,
he's the one from. He's a Shawshank Redemption guy.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows. Yeah. Whom I like. I love that skit. Actually, I love.
It doesn't work as a movie, really, because it's a 1-line joke, 2-line joke. Yeah. But it does. He tries. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole movie, but yeah.
All right, we'll have to do that. We'll have to look.
I'll do some research. See how many there are. If there's a nice even number, then we can do it.
I'm telling you now, though, if Austin Powers makes it into that list, then there's no need for a bracket because Austin Powers, if that's considered an SNL movie, I have too much love for that movie. And it's a Mike Myers movie, so I don't know if it's
no, but
necessarily
here's my qualifier though. Did Austin Powers appear before the movies? Before the movies on SNL. If the answer to that is no, then it is not an SNL movie.
Yeah.
Coneheads.
Coneheads is one of them. Yeah. Coneheads.
Blues Brothers.
Oh God, Blues Brothers. Oh God, I had it and it's gone. Oh, Night at the Roxbury.
Night of the Roxbury. Yeah. That movie sucks.
Superstar.
Superstar.
With Anna Gasteyer.
Zoolander. I was gonna say Zoolander, but they're variations of the superheroes. I think that showed up on SNL.
Oh, I guarantee you there's a list. We'll probably bracket that.
We'll have to do that. We'll have to do some research on that one. That'll be my homework for a little bit since I don't have a car. No. Wah, wah, wah. I think I have that. Vamp for a second.
All right. Look, I mean, if there's any sad moment, we're sad because
I do have it. But yeah, we'll do that next week. What, Corky Romano? Was that?
Oh, Corky Romano.
Oh,
yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
So Married an Axe Murderer?
Maybe.
I don't know because I don't think
that's
any
a Mike
of those
Myers movie.
But I don't think those characters showed up on SNL.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Was there a Stuart Smalley movie? Wasn't there a Stuart Smalley movie?
I think so. I don't remember. Like I said, I'm certain.
Yeah.
We'll find a list. We'll find a list. We'll do some research, and we'll do an SNL movie list.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And if there's not enough, then which I doubt it. I'm pretty sure there's enough. I'm pretty sure there's plenty.
Look,
there's plenty.
All it has to have is an even number.
That's true. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be 16 like we've been doing.
Right.
They just have to be it.
Well, there you go. Stuart Smalley saves the world. You said that anyway, but so that's gonna do it this week, I think. Francis, where can people find you? Maybe later this week for the live people that are watching, and where people can find you in the post as well. In the post, that'd be sweet if we can like mail you places.
I have to mail stuff anyway, so
that is true.
There was that guy that mailed himself to his girlfriend and nearly died because he didn't put holes in the box. But anyway, well, Super Geeked Up is on hiatus for a while, so no new Super Geeked Up for a few weeks. I think we're gonna try to do like live plays and live watching, like watch-alongs or play-alongs for video games and movies. So I might do that instead of an actual just like show where we, have to improv or anything. So we'll see if that happens. But that's Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern on supergeekedup.com.
Awesome. And where can people find you on your stuff if they want to, stalk you?
Oh, yeah, just AKA. Look, AKA the other guy on everything. Apparently, AI know who I am for the most part. AI don't know who Josh is, apparently, which is sad.
No, it is sad.
Josh is everywhere, but, just look AKA the other guy. Shout out to the new people who've, again, followed me on those platforms recently. Those guys are great. Thanks for seeing me, hanging out with me at WonderCon.
I'm glad you met regular people instead of weird swinger people like last time. That were totally trying to get us to come have fun with them.
Oh man, yeah, I guess so.
That's the way it is, man. You can find me at 303 what? What was that?
Older couple alone.
Yeah, well.
Is that older couple? Yeah.
But you can find me at 303_ninja on the Twitters, 303ninja on the Instagram. We're here mostly every week around 7:30 or 7:45 Mountain Time for an hour of fun. You could join us by calling 314-764-7631. Spells out POI Pod 1 because it's synergy at one time was a thing. Voicemail, text, call into the show. You can do that. You can email us at thepoipodcast at gmail.com for that. and I'm starting the music over, and that's everything, I think. Find us, like us, tell people about us.
Yeah.
Come join us. It'll be fun. We won't touch you too inappropriately because it's over the internet. There's no touching. Yeah. That's it. We're out of here.
Poke you. Okay.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye.